Okay. I think that I kind of already said this, maybe a couple times actually, but I want to. I have these written down here, and like I said, my thoughts are kind of jumbled, so there might be something in here that I missed, so I'm going to go through it anyway. Um, and I think it's also a good point to kind of reiterate. So the common viewpoint in science is that we are outside observers watching the universe. But this is not true. We are internal observers. This means that we are subject to all the rules and laws of the universe that we observe. They do not stop at us, they go through us and onwards, beyond. We look down at the microscopic level and say, wow, these beings are quantum, but we ignore the fact that those beings are what make us up. So if everything that makes us up is quantum, where is that line? Where that quantum ends? Like it doesn't. And we look around and we see this thing playing out, and we say, oh wow, this is a fascinating and crazy world, but we don't see ourselves as truly a part of it. But this is like a fish looking at the ocean and saying it's not a part of it. Without the ocean, the fish doesn't exist. The ocean is what gives the fish the ability to live, because a fish cannot live outside of water. At least most fish can't. And so we've got ourselves in this mindset, and it's flawed. It's a flawed look at reality, where we live and we think that we're not a part of it. We think we're outside of it, and it's a fallacy. We see the world that way because we don't actually see ourselves really in our day-to-day lives. We don't really see ourselves in the world, because as an observer, like, we're kind of behind our view. We can see in a camera, I can see myself; in a mirror, I can see myself. But to be honest, I'm looking at this reflection and I'm trusting that that's me, but I can't be certain of that because, logically speaking, it should be me, but I can't be certain that it's me because, I'm basing it off of what I'm seeing, and your eyes can play tricks on you, and the fact that everything is just in observation is, kind of crazy, but um uh yeah, but basically what I'm trying to say with this one is a shorter talk here, but interact the way we interact with the world, we see ourselves as these outside observers, but by doing that, we are ignoring a huge part of reality. We're missing a major, component of what's going on here. It's not, oh, watch how these particles interact. Those particles make up you. You are what those particles are. So, looking at everything and kind of being this outside observer is not necessarily right, because you're not an outside observer. You're observing it from within. And I think that that's kind of an important view to have, because everything you see around you is a part of this mechanism that's going on, this world that we are a part of. And so basically what I think that means is, if I look at particles, in the microscopic, and I see certain interactions, I feel like I should be able to draw parallels to something else. Even though they may not be exactly the same, I think that certain behaviors should be similar. Because everything is made out of the same stuff, right? Nothing changes from the microscopic to, whatever level we're at, right? If you look at anything around you, it's still made up out of the same stuff. And I think that's important to realize. Whatever behavior is happening down there is causing the behavior we see up here, and is causing the behavior we see beyond. So it shouldn't just be like, oh, well, it's only at large scales this happens. If it happens at large scales, it should happen at the small. And that's my personal opinion on it. Maybe there's certain things where that doesn't apply and I'm just, talking out my bum. But I think that it logically tracks that things should have a sort of complement, right? Because it's all the same stuff. But I think that's all that I want to say on that one. So, peace out.